Hello everyone. Today we have with us Dr. Raviraj Ghorpade, who's one of the senior most consulting neurosurgeon in Belgaum, North Karnataka. In his 20 years of career, he has performed more than 10,000 neurosurgeries in North Karnataka, especially Belgaum. He has been the pioneer in introducing advanced neurosurgery techniques in North Karnataka, such as fluorescent guided microscopic neurosurgery, endoscopic neurosurgery, neuroimaging guided neurosurgery. We have with him here today. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hi.
So, you've been practicing neurosurgery for the past 20 years. What inspired you to pick such a highly specialized area of medicine?
When I finished my undergraduation from Jain Medical College, Belgaum, I wanted to do the best and I wanted to do super specialization because that was the era when super specialization was picking up. And one thing which got my eyes was that Nimans was offering an integrated course directly for super specialty finishing MCH neurosurgery as a 5 years course.
Okay.
And at the same time, there was a lot of lacunae in North Karnataka for neurosurgery. As such, many patients were literally running around from pillar to post and going to all metros for especially neurosurgical problems. And this inspired me during my undergraduate days to take up neurosurgery as an field for of my interest.
So, doctor, you did your post graduation and super specialization from NIMHANS, Bangalore. Now, that's a metropolitan city with a huge scope. What prompted you to come back to your roots, Belgaum, and practice over here?
20 years back only, I realized that the problem of today's Bangalore, which will be a traffic congestion, lot of problems where you can't reach out more than 10 to 15 kilometers in a span of just around 2 to 3 hours. I realized it much there then and there when I was there in 2004 when I finished my neurosurgery. And at the same time, my professor encouraged me to go back to my place, Belgaum, because there were a lot of people who were traveling all the way from Belgaum to Nimans for treatment. And my professors literally encouraged me to join here. And since Jain Medical College was my alma mater, so I thought that going back to my own place makes a much difference to my own people rather than in staying in a metro where I can visit anytime.
You realize your people needed you here more than
Yeah,
in
so
Bangalore.
I realized that my lot of my friends, my relatives, everyone is here. So they said me that it is better to you move in here rather than stay back at metro. So I chose Belgaum as the first choice.
So, doctor, can you tell me what has been your life-changing surgery? Have you had any of those surgeries that has changed your perspective towards neurosurgery?
One of the cases which made me prompt, that was just in my initial days. In fact, it was my just even not I had not even finished my 1 year at Belgaum. Then I had a huge tumor patient whom literally most of the people had said that you by operating this person, you are not doing any great work because he's going to die and everything. It was a very huge C-panel schwannoma where he had all the possible complications and nerve palsies which what we see and everything. That day, literally, we were not in that stage of sophistication what we today have, but we had a very old microscope and everything. That time, it was a challenge for me because the patient never said that he will go out anywhere else. He said that ultimately, if everyone is saying that there is no chance of survival, he said that let me die in your hands. And that made me think that people are ready in case because they don't want to go anywhere else, and that changed my perspective when I operated. And it was a quite a long lengthy surgery for a whole day, but I still remember his name. He comes back to me at least once in 2 years to meet me and everything, and he's fine, he's walking and everything. And that changed my perspective that I should pursue my specialization in neurosurgery, especially in neuro-oncology, and other coming out was pediatric neurosurgery and spine complex surgeries. And that made me think that once you develop what you say high-end skill, definitely it will help your patients, and in turn the blessings and whatever you get is a byproduct of that. And it is a tribute to my parents and teachers that they have made me capable of doing such complicated cases.
So, a patient who almost everyone thought is going to die and there's no use operating on this patient, you took that small chance, 10%, 1% chance,
Whatever it
was,
is, son.
and you gave him a new start at life. Can you tell me, in the past 20 years, how has neurosurgery evolved with respect to a technology that is being used?
If you see, technology has not left anyone untouched, and more so, the bio or medical technology or medical engineering has advanced so much. The surgeries which we used to do, like for example, say pituitary tumors, we used to do with the microscope and putting the hardy speculum, and we used to literally tear up these, you can say, open up the nose and then go in, remove a lot of skull base, then remove the tumors and everything. Now they have just become a completely purely endoscopic surgeries. Patients used to stay for more than 10 days, 15 days. Now they are staying just for 3-4 days and they're going back after major surgeries. I still remember surgeries which I have done with huge defects lining up with huge tumors for almost 3 to 5 centimeters, up to 9 centimeters of skull base has been opened and the dura has been repaired, and everything endoscopically. I still remember where I used to first open up the cranium and then go and then remove the colloid cyst, which was a small tumor but blocking the main pathway, and used to literally open up, say, almost 4 to not 4, you can say almost 10 to 12 centimeters of the incision and everything. Now I just do with a hardly, you can say, a 12 millimeter hole, a burrow hole, and an endoscopic evacuation or endoscopic excision of the colloid cyst, and the patient goes home within 3 days. The scar also is not seen. So the endoscopic we have has taken an advancement even in spine, doing endoscopic discectomies. Even we have gone from now intra-op neuronavigation. I have an intra-op ultrasound also. So whatever the dream setup for a neurosurgeon, especially in a private setup where I have got a fluorescent guided microscope, which is not available to many of the people. I got a neuronavigation, high-end drills. I have got intra-op ultrasound. So these at hand have made us so better, you can say, technologically advanced, that I can give them the best of the best, and that too in a place like tier 2 or 3 cities in Belgaum. So that has actually advanced, and things are going to be much further advanced as the days goes on. So technology is going to definitely change as much, and you have to adopt it. And AI also is coming into it.
So you're saying AI is coming into it. What does that mean? Does it mean that it will be guiding you with respect to the surgery, or will you be able to do remote surgeries using it? Will it replace the skilled hands of a 20-year experienced surgeon?
No, no, no. AI is not going to replace the surgical skills as such, as of now, what I know, but it is definitely going to help you make the better outcomes. In terms of outcomes, it will make the better precision as well as outcomes will be better. It will even tell you before pre-surgery that what is the best approach, what best you can do, and what are the possible outcomes of this patient.
So neurosurgeon plus AI will be superior than a neurosurgeon, but these will never compare to just an AI.
No, no, no. AI will not completely take it, because a surgical skill with the help of AI can be refined, but it can't completely replace the human being.
Neurosurgery requires such a high precision and it's quite complex. So how do you prepare yourself before a procedure?
The first thing is always I keep my mind calm, especially keep it in such a good mood that you can take up for the next 6 to 8 hours of your hard work. Don't quarrel with anyone. Keep focus. And the next thing is I always start my surgeries with a good slokas or mantras, whatever you say, which helps me to focus, and then a light music all through my surgeries, and never rake up any controversial issues with any of the staff or any of the consultants.
Stay away from controversy, stay away from conflict,
Stay away from conflict. Keep
focus on
mind
your
calm.
work.
Calmness, avoid conflict and controversies.
So I've heard so you are very much positive about spirituality. Now, if we consider neuroscience and spirituality, they for most people go in opposite directions. So how does it work for you?
In fact, the answers which the science can't give, where it stops, the spirituality starts giving you. For me, I can relate to many things where the spirituality will give you answers. Like, for example, you don't know. I always say to my patients that I treat your body, and I will not be able to treat your age. nor your fate, but I will be able to treat your body and disease. I will be able to help you. We try to treat you, but He is the one who cures you. So there is some guiding force all the way behind for such a huge, large universe, which is helping us in doing some good work.
Do you feel that force like going through you when you're operating on a patient? Like if the hands, the skill sets, the experience is all yours. There's some force guiding you in that.
Basically, whenever I operate very high-end cases and everything, maybe most of the neurosurgeons who do that, they feel they are almost in a meditative phase, are in that they are in that trance phase. Like for example, I personally forget who I am when I am operating. I don't know that I forget that I am a husband, I am a son, I am a father, I am a brother, but I only remember that I am a person whom I am here to help this person out. Other than that, nothing will be in my mind. Only running is neurosurgery patient and how to treat this person, how to bring him out of the problem. These are the only things in our mind, and that's how it gives me spirituality, that it uses you the meditative process to focus.
It helps you channel your attention.
Channel my
basically.
attention, and maybe that is the force which guides
And not get distracted.
distracted from
Correct,
anything.
Doctor, in your reels, you have spoken a lot about neuroscience and the power of manifestation. Are there any parallels between the disciplines of neurosurgery and the power of manifestation? And have they shaped your personal and professional life in any manner?
I always believe that what you expect is what you get also at the same time. And mind is such a powerful thing that it will help you to get what you want. But for that to happen, you require something called as discipline. And discipline is nothing but consistency in doing your work as much as possible in a perfect way. And you need not harm anyone to become a better person. Life gives you opportunity in many ways. It may be positive to negative. Whether with that opportunity you become better or bitter depends upon you. So I always think whatever happens is for good, and I always take it and refer to Bhagavad Gita, where it says whatever has happened is for good. Look for what you can do next rather than what has gone wrong. So that way it makes you think that you can literally take your mind to the extremes to do the best of the best out of you.
Yeah. But you need to have discipline.
You have to have discipline.
Like they say, you're not risen to the level of your goals. You're beaten down to the level of your processes or systems.
Always have success should never go to the head, and it should the more the successful you are in many of the surgeries, it should humble you more, because sometimes when it goes to the head, it makes you proud, and one next complication will definitely beat you down to the level that where you will literally make you feel that useful for nothing. So it should never go to the head, and failure should never go to the heart. So make sure that you balance your mind, and that is all neurosurgery is about.
So no matter how many years of experience one has, one still has to be on their toes. Still has to deliver that best in the OT room when that skull is open.
Nothing short of it. Best of the best.
Does spirituality, in your experience, play a role in patient care after the surgery?
Spirituality is nothing but you are putting your mind into something where you believe that there is something more powerful than what you are, and you are asking Him to guide. Basically, you are guiding yourself. I personally believe that prayer is not one where you ask to change the mind of the God. You are requesting God to change your mind. So similarly, spirituality helps the patients to some extent, definitely, to change the things how they look their life. We see a lot of patients who have ruined their life with many of the addictions like alcohol, tobacco, drugs and everything. And when they come out of a major accident and everything, I always tell them that God has given you a second chance where you start doing a better way so that your life is helpful for the fellow human beings. And that makes them more attached to spirituality.
So spirituality is that power that helps them channel their energies away from these addictions
and everything
to a healthier
path and everything.
As a neurosurgeon, do you believe the mind can influence physical healing, and how does that sit with the science of neuroplasticity?
Okay, fine. There have been studies where they show that people who meditate, and even one of the happiest person on this world is supposed to be some monk who practices medicine, meditation, and everything, they have found that these people have got the higher delta alpha waves, where it shows that calmness of the mind. If you are able to calm your mind, it means that the stress is less. The stress less on the mind, or it's nothing but indirectly on your brain, is lessen your stress hormones in your body. The lesser the stress hormones in your body, you are giving better time for healing of your body. Your body heals in a better way when it is at a calmer level rather than at a you can say higher frequency.
So less stress, less cortisol and
Less
other stress
cortisols.
hormones, less inflammation, more energy of the body will spend on healing rather
Healing
than
on that.
dealing with the stress. So Dr. Neuroplasticity, which is healing of the brain by forming newer neuron connections. Have you seen this manifest in your patients, especially to complex cases?
Yeah, I've seen very oftenly, especially in children. Like for example, I remember one child where the child had injury on the left side of the brain, and the right side of the body had literally, you can say, well, to some extent was paralyzed, and there was speech deficit. This child was hardly around 2 or 3 years of age. We requested the parents to make sure that she takes up a challenge of making the right hand more put into practice to use them more, and at the same time start speaking. By end of 3 to 4 years, literally the right brain had everyone taken up the right side, which usually we say that it is cross connections, but you could see that the right brain has been taking up a more as compared to even the damaged brain. So there are chances that it heals by forming in younger patients by forming newer neurons and newer connections. In older patients, it's still a controversy, but definitely newer connections form, and to some extent maybe new neurons might form. It's still a controversy.
So in this patient, the left side of the brain, which was controlling the right side of the body, had a defect. Okay, and because of this defect, the right side of the body had a neurodeficit. So what you're saying is over time, the right side of the brain was compensating for this neurodeficit in the left side
Right
of
side
the
of the
brain
brain.
for the right side of the body.
Yeah, definitely. That is what I.
So, doctor, in neurosurgery, you further specialize, I believe, in pediatric neurosurgery and spine surgery. So, what drove your interest to specialize in these two areas? Like, how do they complement each other?
Two of my professors at my NIMANS, they profoundly influenced me. One for pediatric neurosurgery. One is endoscopic neurosurgery, which we used to do a lot of on hydrocephalus and the children and everything, doing endoscopic third ventriculostomy and everything, where we make a hole to drain the fluid and everything. That was one thing where drew me my interest to treating the young pediatric patient, because treating them is entirely different. They are not miniature adults. Their body, their healing, as well as their anatomy is slightly different from the adults. And one of my professor influenced me for spine surgery, because one of the most common disease where people get crippled after being surgery by you can say inexperienced or old methods of spine surgeries, that they don't know how to properly handle the cord and everything. And he influenced me that neurosurgeons are always better in handling spine, especially when the neural tissue comes. So these two people influenced me, and they complement, because children have got a lot of spinal dysraphism, where I operate them a lot, like meningocele, meningomyelocele, feather cord syndrome, diastoma. These are the diseases which happen in the spine of the children, and that has complemented me. And once you operate them very fine, the children are better off for all of their life, rather than being crippled at their young age. So that made me think that if you do something good at their younger age, then they are better off their lifelong.
So, which is why spine surgery is very important to be taken up by an experienced neurosurgeon.
Neurosurgeon.
So, on a personal note, neurosurgery sometimes can be quite intense and draining. So, what do you usually do after a long day in the operation theatre?
One thing is, first thing is when I go home, one is a good warm shower bath. After that, listen to some good music which I love, maybe classical or Bollywood or something, or a fun comedy movie, parts or something, whatever it is, and then rewind and sleep.
Are there any habits or rituals or hobbies that you have followed which has helped you in your career as a neurosurgeon?
One is trying to keep yourself fit. One is I love cycling. Sometimes I like to go for swimming, and to some extent gym, very rarely. But cycling and swimming are my one of my two hobbies, which keeps me fit. And at the same time, reading non-neurosurgical books, non-fictional books, especially which help your personal development, have helped me a lot in my neurosurgery.
So, doctor, I understand that you have built one of the most advanced neurosurgical setup in North Karnataka, something that I think which is not available even in metro cities today, with the endoscopic microscope and everything. What inspired you to invest all this into the technology?
Thing is, there is a general misconception in the people that only metros can do high-end surgeries, and people are shy away from investing high-end things, especially at the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. But what I realized is that bringing in, and you can say, high-end equipments, technology need not be always very high-end also, but at the same time, those which are apt for that time and which works out cost effective. Like for example, we brought a tumor fluorescence microscope, which was one of the first to be installed in the North Karnataka, and that particular model from the one of the companies was the second in the India to be launched here, and that made us our surgeries to I would say go a further extent with the neuro navigation being added on it. So a safer and larger extent of excision of the tumors and everything gives a good outcome of these patients. And at the same time, we have got even ultrasound, intraop ultrasound, which is not available in many of the people, so that you can intraop see where you are going. We have an we have got one of the best endoscopic centers in North Karnataka, where we do a lot of endoscopic neurosurgeries, spine and brain both. And at the same time, we have got all the high-end equipments. The thing is, it has made your life easier in the sense that you need not worry that if anything goes wrong, what will happen. So you know that the best is already available. Okay, I don't say that you are always perfect, but instead of being only 80 or 90% perfect, you are now at least 98. You are reaching a level of perfection where you know that you can handle any of the complications much better than before. And at the same time, the patient, once he goes back with a smile, with no deficits, with a better outcome, which is almost at par or in fact better than metros, then you that is the
That's
success.
a reward for
That's the
investing
reward.
in the technology.
Yeah, that's the reward. And one brings 10. It means that the smiles goes on increasing.
Right.
So one smile becomes a 10 smile. That is your success.
So, for our aspiring neurosurgeons, what would you say are the key qualities they need to develop to be able to meet the demanding needs of this specialty?
First thing is, I would say that patience. Patience while studying and learning. Patience while you are started your practice, and patience while you are treating your patients. So patience is one of the key factors. Second thing is always keep updating yourself. Always keep updating yourself. Third,
Never stop learning.
never stop learning. So it's a 3L, lifelong learning. Then thing is you should always have 3 C's. Crystal clear concepts what you want to. So you should have concept which are crystal clear. And you should always have 3D, that is deep driving desire to excel. And don't compete with anyone else. Compete with yourself, that every day you become better self of your own. That is the key to success. So, and this once you start doing it, you will realize that how you can improve yourself in all the fields. If neurosurgery is applied into your personal life also, you will learn many things and you will become a better neurosurgeon as well as a better human being.
Doctor, what is one of the myths that you have encountered about neurosurgery among people?
One of the myths which most of the people feel that is that neurosurgery is what do you say, forbidden thing, like thing that if a person gets operated on his skull or his spine, they say that once you operate on the brain or something, that he will become you can say
Not normal.
not normal.
He'll have a neuro deficit
He will have
forever.
definitely neuro
always.
deficit for his life,
Right.
and at the same time, he may not be psychologically normal. If the spine is operated, then he becomes paraplegic. These are all the myths which are there, still floating around in the society. With the high-end advanced techniques which we are doing now, these myths have to slowly go off. And most of them people now know that the technology has advanced so much that the endoscopic surgery, the microscopic surgery have taken such advance that patient literally goes back to normal life within a few days. That also is there. And even spine surgeries, when they are done, hardly about 2 days or 48 hours afterwards, the patient starts walking, and by end of a week, he can even do like a sitting job or something. These are the myths which have to be cleared, and they are off now, going off. So that is what which we have seen over a period of last 20 years.
So, doctor, you have practiced in India as well as in US at Cleveland Clinic. In your experience, how does the neurosurgery practice in US and India differ from each other?
I was there for a short period of time at Cleveland, and what I observed was that the practice there is more protocol based, and very few people, as you can say, they dare to switch over from their protocols and everything. Sometimes it's even bad also,
Detrimental to the practice?
patient also and the practice also. And most of the thing is insurance driven. Every patient is insurance covered and everything, and insurance as well as the medical, you can say, the industry drives the patient's what do you say, care and everything. So such a insurance driven as well as the protocol, which sometimes, even though it is good, but sometimes it's detrimental. So, but in India, the problem is that you are so overloaded with the amount of number of cases are that, even though you have got a huge experience, you end up not publishing many of the things. You might see a person even at a tier 2 or tier 3 cities where they do thousands of cases, but they never come to the limelight because they don't have time to even look up at their own life. Forget about the putting in their efforts to publish and everything. But off late now, over a period of last decade and everything, the younger generation, the lots they have come up, they are trying to keep up with the pace, and there are a lot of publications which are coming with the good studies and everything from Indian subcontinent, and that is going to be one of the mark, and we are going to definitely overtake.
So, our good work is now being seen, which was
Seen
earlier
and
not seen because
not
the
seen.
publications were not happening from Indian
Our Indian
neurosurgeons as much as they were happening from the US
US
neurosurgeons.
surgeons, or you can say abroad surgeons.
Yeah.
So definitely we are going to lead the world in the medical field.
Doctor, what is one of the most important lessons that you have learned from either your practice or your cases or your patients?
Not all the cases, not all the patients are same. Even though the disease is same, most of them behave separately, or you can say each patient is a new book. You have to read it properly. And at the same time, not everyone is in the same situation to handle the disease and everything. So every patient has to be seen as an individual, as a whole, and you can't generalize the treatment also.
Not as simple as fixing a car.
Yeah, no, 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 they are not the same. Every individual, even though they are the twins, they are different in taking up their challenges when they come to surgery or something. So that every patient is a new book which has to be read, and at the same time, you have to treat them accordingly. You have to basically tailor the treatment rather than, and everybody is not in the same situation of their life, so you have to take care of that.
Lastly, doctor, if you had to describe your job as a neurosurgeon in 3 words, what would they be?
One is, first is you should have enormous amount of patience. Second thing is being disciplined. Discipline is a thing where you do consistently the same thing to improve yourself. And next thing is have focus. Focus on the things which you do, and faith in the God which you believe.
Thank you.
Thank you.